Without any further ado, we're going to start off with the first track, which is the title track, which is 56 seconds long, which we've been scammed by because it's not even 3 extra tracks. It's 2 with a fucking intro. So let's just go, okay? Mirror's Edge. Take it away. Is that the same? Yeah, it's... Okay, so there's just like an extended intro for After Image. I can like already hear the chord progression or the melody in After Image in that. Am I right? Who's that? This part here. Quick words on that one, just to gather my thoughts after hearing it multiple fucking times and having it completely stuck in my head. One of the favorite parts about this song, other than the fact that it's just a banger, I mean, it's so fucking sick. It just has that like old school Northlane sound, but also just brings in so much fucking melody as well. Like even by their standards for melody, I think this is one of their most melodic songs. Just such an easy hook to sing along to, but the going back and forth and like listening multiple times is like, it feels like there's like an Easter egg built into the back and forth between both vocalists, like with Ian Kenny and Marcus Bridge. Because on a first couple listens, even when I was doing my first like reactions to the track and like breaking it down or whatever and just reviewing it, I couldn't figure out who was who in the parts. Like I couldn't figure out who was Marcus and who was Ian Kenny, even though their like vocal cadences are completely different. In
stranger from the outside.
I really have to turn off these alerts when I'm doing these because they just completely throw my train of thought off. But yeah, like their cadences in certain parts, like when they were screaming, were like so similar, so I couldn't actually differentiate between when the fuck each vocalist was going. So over time, I could like, now it feels a little bit more obvious to me. I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is Marcus. This is... What have I started? Should I just turn them off? Anyway, great song. Great fucking song.
No pulse, no fucking feeling. Your own ship, they say us whatever gets you there. Rip out the hearts, rip me for parts, and then press experiment.
Yeah, that part goes so hard, man. The standout of the track for me and what kind of kept me going back to the track after a while was the outro part when Winston McCall comes in. That whole like build-up section is so sick, but listening to it again, it feels like the verses are mad hollow or something. I don't know if that's a bad take, but just listen to it there again compared to the like After Image and everything. After Image just feels so much more fluffed out and full, whereas something about the verses in this track just seem like, I don't know, they just don't feel like that full. I don't know if it's a production thing or if they're just, it's just not like completely there. But listening to it, like this isn't like, obviously I've heard it a good few times now, but I just feel like it's not even like the lyrical content, because to be honest, I haven't paid too much attention to that, but just his flow or something in it is like quite hollow. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Maybe there's not enough like backing instrumental or like not enough of the normal kind of Northlane synth that does be in the background. I don't know, but that's just kind of what my takeaway is from listening to it in full context. But yeah, Gold Medal, what's happening, bro? How are you? But still a great song, don't get me wrong. It gives me like that sugar feel, but also has that Northlane feel as well. Big chorus at the end, you know, it's a great song. It's a great song. I can't really complain, but if I'm being real nitpicky, I just do feel like just that first verse, I think it's like the part where Marcus is like kind of, where is it? Let me just... Yeah, it's like here. I think it's because of the way in which we transition into it. It's so fluffy and full here, but when it transitions into his verse, it just feels like a lot of the mix is pulling out. Let me see. Like all here, it's nice and fat. Yeah. Well, again, I'm being real nitpicky with that. We're just going to move on to the next track. This is the first new track, essentially. Let Me Disappear. That might be a choice. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure it wasn't something that they brushed over lightly, you know. It doesn't ruin it for me at all, no. Just something I noticed. almost like dubsteppy. That's one of the maddest fucking songs I've heard from these guys, man. Jesus Christ. And there's definitely a lot of fucking hidden melody in there.
A stranger from the outside.
Look, lads, I appreciate it, all right? Don't ever take this for me not appreciating this. But fuck off waiting until I'm starting to speak a sentence and then follow. All right, give me a minute. That track was very interesting. The mix, I think, every time I hear a Northlane track, whether it be all the new singles that we've heard released, it just feels like there's something wrong with the mix every time. But then I listen to it more and then I just get used to it and then it sounds like the best thing ever. And it's like so experimental and so fucking, like, it feels like they're just paving a new path completely. But at the same time, when I hear it first, I'm like, that sounds weird. You know what I mean? Like, I've gotten used to the mixes on the singles. Dante, I think, was the first single like that. Like the first single that was released, obviously. And then I didn't really have any problems with it. But then Mirror's Edge, or I can't concentrate. How do I turn these off? I don't even know how to turn them off. I've turned them on and I don't know how to turn them off. Anyway, point is, that was quite experimental, even by Northlane's standards. The dubstep section towards the end was something I don't think I've ever really heard done. I've heard them do the electronic stuff, the EDM stuff, but dubstep was a bit mad. I think we'd probably categorize that as dubstep. Not sure if I love it. There's some like subtle melody. I see what they're trying to do, the da 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 da, the little hook line in the chorus, but as a song, there was a lot going on. Very dense mix again. Hard to kind of hear. The guitars almost take center stage a lot of the time, and sometimes it sounds like, you unfollowed just to follow? You were already followed. Fuck's sake. But I'll let you all get your follows in.
Stranger.
Since I'm being trolled now. I can't turn them off. I actually can't turn them off. I have the button that has them on. And if I mute that, it's
Stranger from the outside.
Oh my god. Alright, I have to figure something out here.
Outside.
How do I turn my alerts off? Oh my god. Oh my god.
From the outside.
I'm so glad I don't have my heart rate monitor on. Stop for a second, please. And we're going to do the last track. Second last track. How do I turn off my alerts? How do I turn them off?
From the outside.
I regret putting that on so much. It's insane. Oh my fucking god.
A stranger from the outside.
How do I turn them off, bro? Have you had your fucking fun? Yeah, this one's fucking sick, man. Man, the synced up riffs with the hardstyle kick is fucking mental. And this is just Meshuggah if they discovered ecstasy very early on in their career. That's heavy as fuck. And now we have... It's still track of the album, isn't it? It is still track of the album. Rosie, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. $72 people here. That's a career in there. The singles are so good and they got so much better over time that as much as I don't think the EP tracks are nearly as good as the singles, I do think just based on how the singles have went.
Stranger from the outside. Ooh!
I'm hesitant to say that I'm a little bit disappointed by the EP because I know Northlane and I know how much I love these guys and they just don't have any bad projects in my opinion. So to say I'm disappointed, it's kind of like a Silent Planet situation where maybe I'm a little bit underwhelmed by it because of how good the singles were and how much I loved it. But again, I think I just need more time. So for now, I think a fair rating, even though I am the biggest Northlane stan in the world, I think an 8 out of 10 for me is where I'm sitting. I think 8 out of 10 is just where my brain is telling me to go, but my heart is like saying, Drew, give this a fucking 9 out of 10 because it will probably come around and I'll end up loving everything. But I think for now, first listen, based on how good the singles were and the fact that all we've really gotten was 2 additional tracks, I'm kind of like a little bit disappointed by that. But at the same time, if you take all that out of the equation and just look at the tracks without the singles in mind, like if I just assume that I've never heard any of these singles before, that's a pretty sick EP. You know, it's easy to kind of overlook the fact that we've heard these multiple times, so you're a little bit more used to them, so they're not new, so to speak. But if you just look at the EP for someone listening to this in 10 years time, now obviously I don't know what the landscape is going to be like in 10 years time, so maybe in a month's time when someone comes back to this and says, oh, this Northlane band, I haven't heard anything by these guys, I think this is a solid fucking EP. So I think my rating might be higher just for that alone, but because the singles have really given me this preconception of how good this EP is going to be, I think I'm slightly disappointed. So I'll go 8 out of 10, which is still not bad. 3 listens in and like them even more for sure. Like I just know Northlane. I have a lot of trust in this band that they'll end up really growing on me. I think because they're so experimental and some of their sections can be quite jarring because they're so different and, you know, just like nothing you really ever heard before. Like again, that dubstep section, of course it's been done before by certain bands, or it's been done multiple times before in the past with fucking dubstep projects, but to hear it like blended in with melody and harsh vocals and low tuned guitars and crazy synths, it's quite different. So your brain isn't really prepared for it, so you don't really know what you think of on a first listen. So a couple more listens, I'm sure this will be fantastic, probably up there for EP of the year.